Right there. Right? Like, instead of, just think about the game sense. You don't have a follower, but instead of trying to win this and steamroll it right here, what if you just killed it and pushed it this way so that this player can get boost and shoot an open net? It's just more of this intentionality with our 50s instead of just rushing in, where when you rush in and you try to win every 50, I promise you that your teammates have a harder time of reading what is going on. So we are solo queue. Champ 1. Shout out to my champs. Totally a fine challenge. I'm going to let this play to try to get a macro look. Figure out if there's anything we need to kind of refine or that we're ready to work on. Good. Yeah, one thing, I don't know if I will get obsessed with this, but just one thing that I feel like will extend our gameplay is follow-up touch control in the air. 2 touches, not just 1. You don't always have to do it, but the reason I'm saying this, we challenge in the air, I feel like, more than the average player. And I would love to see you make that touch and be able to follow it up and get a 50 in the air or on the ground. Same thing right here. Take this touch and then keep boosting, keep air rolling, follow it up. I know that you're setting up a teammate, but I kind of want to get out of that mindset just for you to improve individually. 1 to 2 more touches in the air, follow it up with a 50-50. There's a time to pass, a time to clear. It's not always control. Observation right now, but I feel like that's really nice for you to improve individually, because that's why we do this. Good. What do we do? Good. Everything kind of like revolving around game sense, rotations, positioning. So far, I like. There's no glaring habit, bad habit. Everything looks pretty clean for the level. Maybe that's why I started off with mechanics, because mechanics are kind of like everything in between. Everything else looks good. Do it. It's good. Very good. Nice try. Honestly, well, I think this is one of your better replays. For sure. It's pretty clean. Dude, it's been over 3 minutes of this gameplay. Do not want to go down a game sense route. Anything involving game sense. It's fine. I mean, like, part 1, just like miscellaneous thing. I really do want follow-up touch control in the air. I think that's really good. Like, obviously, like, in a situation like that, we can't follow that up. We're getting bumped. Only thing with game sense, we're taking some challenges and we're losing some 50s pretty bad. Consistently. If it happens one more time, might have to talk about it. Like, I want that to be what's... Okay, so... I think what I'm going to do... Like, this is kind of like... Not going to lie, a lame review. It's one of those reviews where... For me, personally, as a coach, I would rather see you maintain this and not really overthink gameplay and, like, make this a new baseline, a new floor. Because over the past, like, couple weeks, I think this is, like, a highlight of your gameplay. Rotations are fine. Positioning is fine. Again, for a champion level, like there's no major habits. Like, okay, it's not bad, dude. Like, this is super solid for champ 1. So what I want to do is I'll point out a couple miscellaneous things. Part 1 is follow-up touch control in the air. But it's pretty straightforward, man. How do you follow this up? Air roll and boost. So notice how, and I know like some of these touches you might not be making the decision to follow it up, but I kind of want to get into this mindset where you are choosing to follow up your air touches. So it's hard for you to follow this ball up because you're hitting the front of your car. If you hit the top of your car or the front of your car, the ball just ricochets. That is the hardest part of the car. Okay? And it's kind of like, right, top or front. It's kind of like shifting your mindset because like you're using the top of your car, you're using the front of your car because you're choosing to beat, you're choosing to clear. But I want to start like learning how to control these touches and choosing to do it. You just start your air roll right before you get your first touch. And it allows you to get slightly underneath the car, which is a little bit of a softer touch. It kind of keeps it a bit more controlled. And then you boost after it to follow it up. Now, I'm going to show one more example where you had the follow-up and you kind of chose to pass, which is totally fine. But I want to start following up these air touches because when you watch Grand Champion gameplay, that's what these players are doing. If you're watching a Grand Champ, if a Grand Champ's going to hit this ball hard, it's going to be a double touch, right? Which you could have doubled this, but see how you start pointing the nose of your car down? You already like bailed out of the play. Start learning double touches off the sidewall. Start following up your air touches. But let me show you that other backboard example because it was a good example. Right here. You're up. See how you... It's so minor. And the way your car's angled... You're already getting the underneath of your car, but you do the slight air roll. It's very minor. The goal is to get the underneath of your car, but you could do so through air roll. You're already positioned for the underneath of your car because it's kind of a high touch and you're underneath it, but it's getting more for any aerial play when you have open space, because what's happening is when you have open space on the ground, you could easily identify it and control, but when you have... What's cool about airplay is like, right, you have open space in the air right now. And I want you to start identifying these open space plays in the air. So you hit the underneath your car. Easiest way to do that is air roll right before the first touch. And then follow that. And then follow that. Because like what a higher level player is going to do is they're going to follow this, right? And you're low boost right now. You're 44 boost. But then they're going to flip reset to extend the play. All right, or they're going to follow it and then turn it into a 50 on whoever challenges them. So I kind of want to get out of this, like, when you go for an aerial challenge, right now you're narrowly focused on, I'm going to beat the player, or I'm going to pass to a teammate, or I'm going to clear pressure. And I want to get more into this first step, identify the space, which is hard, but I would just have, like, this general approach where you're trying to follow up all your touches in the air. And you could do so through air dribble, right? So like if you followed that and only got one more touch, for this rank, I'd call that an air dribble, right? 2 touch. But you could also do those sidewall doubles. Work on keeping that touch close with air roll underneath of the car and boost after the ball, like aggressively boost after the ball. And what's going to happen is you're going to run into boost management issues, but we're never going to work through those until we start doing this. Like, this is the next extension of gameplay. Now, part 2 is just 50-50s, and it's simple. Like we've talked about this before in the past, Will, but when you take 50s, you're always trying to win. Like, you're always trying to, like, be a dump truck or steamroll through the 50. You're trying to dunk over. And I want you to learn, just like on kickoff, when you go for a kickoff and there's a kickoff where you try to kill the ball, I want you to learn and practice how to kill the ball, where you go for this play right here and you're just trying to stuff it so that this player can follow you up. Because it's just more awkward for players to read you and follow up when you're trying to win every 50 versus if you could stuff it or hit it to a direction. Like imagine your game sense was, I'm doing this. I know there's a player to the right of me. I'm going to 50-50 stuff this, but I'm going to try to push it this way so that my teammate can pick it up and score the 1v1. Like, that's high-level game sense right there, at least for higher than champion. And I'm going to show a couple 50-50s for you where every single time we're always trying to win, we're trying to beat. And I just want you to practice, just like practice the aerial follow-ups, practice stuffing the ball. Like, you could still beat players, right? You're an attack dog. You always have been. So, like, even this challenge where we missed the ball, it's kind of resulted in that same mindset where you're trying to win every challenge. You're trying to dunk every ball. But if you have this kind of 50-50 kill, 50-50 stuff, whatever you want to call it, that mentality, you might not dive at this ball because you're trying to kill it. And you, like, you know, just do a drive challenge, recover, steal boost, same play. Like that. Like, honestly, it looks like you're trying to stuff it here. You're taking like a low 50, a defensive 50. I just want us to get better at this because it's this area of impact in the replay where we keep losing these 50s. That was good. Try to find one more for you. Right there. Right? Like, instead of, just think about the game sense. You don't have a follower, but instead of trying to win this and steamroll it right here, what if you just killed it and pushed it this way so that this player can get boost and shoot an open net? It's just more of this intentionality with our 50s instead of just rushing in, where when you rush in and you try to win every 50, I promise you that your teammates have a harder time of reading what is going on. And that's where I'd leave the replay. That's where I'd leave the replay.